It is 6:30 p.m. on April 14th, 2025. We're going to go ahead and call this regular meeting of the McGregor City Council to order. Would you please stand and join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, do we have any public comments? Anybody signed up for? Okay, we don't have anybody signed up for comments. So we'll move on to the minutes of the previous meeting. Consider approving minutes of the City Council meeting held on March 10th, 2025. They're included in your packet. That's the way I remember it happening.
Did y'all turn your mics on?
Turn your mics on, please.
Second.
See, I got you, Mary.
A motion by Bonnie Mullins, second by Sherry Adams. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? That motion carries. Item 2, discussion and possible action regarding approval of an order of cancellation for the general election of the City of McGregor, Texas, to be held on May 3rd, 2025. We'll just go ahead and remind our audience and council that Mr. Macedo, Mr. Garcia, and Mrs. Adams were all running unopposed.
I'll make a motion that we approve the order of cancellations for the general election.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, nay? That motion carries. Item 3, discussion and possible action regarding approval of resolution R-10-2025, a resolution authorizing membership in the Atmos City Steering Committee and authorizing the payment of 5 cents per capita to the Atmos City Steering Committee to fund regulatory and related activities related to Atmos Energy Corporation.
Council, this has kind of been a long time coming. There have not been very many specific rate increases requested by Atmos Energy since I've been here. The time or two that it's happened over the years, we have deferred to this group. They actually have a group, they meet. I think some of the area cities are already members, and we've deferred to them, so we've kind of gotten a free ride, if you will. This latest rate increase is pretty big, and I want to make sure that we're involved in that and have a seat at that table. And I've noticed a lot of city, and again, I grew up in the gas business. I'm somewhat familiar. The city manager of my hometown and my dad were good friends until rate increases got filed, and then they couldn't speak for about 6 months until they were done. But those days are over. And I think we need to have a seat at this table and pay our minimal dues. That's not very much money in order to be a part of this process and make sure our interests are being represented. We probably should have joined the last time. It wasn't a very big deal, and they do a very good job, and they're kind of the group that I'd like to be involved in. With your permission, I'd like to ask you to pass this resolution. It'll cost us a few $100s, and
$298.95.
there you go. See? Anyway, that's my request.
All right. Does anybody on council have any questions for Kevin on this? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion we approve resolution R-10-2025.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? That motion carries. Item number 4, receive financials as of February 28th, 2025. Mr. Klump, you have the floor.
Mayor and council, thank you for your time. don't see the clicker. Okay, you got it. All right. Thank you. So we're doing the presentation over February. February represents 41.67%, almost half of the year, but not quite there yet. And if we look at our more important funds up here, just the percentages of budget to actual, we see we're hitting fairly accurate there. The exchange event center, the expenses are over the revenues, but we'll see as we move into a year-over-year representation in the next slides that's normal for what we see historically. Okay. The general fund net cash flow is $84,000 lower than the previous year. Revenues are up $297,800 and expenditures are up $381,800 as compared to the same period last year. The revenue increase relates primarily to an increase in budgeted ad valorem taxes of $260,600 and a timing difference of franchise fees received at the beginning of the year. Expenditure increases are primarily due to a contractual payment of the Waco Industrial Foundation of almost $300,000 and the timing of other contracted service payments, with the remainder relating to budgeted increases in personnel services and decreases in plan review fees. Okay. For the utility fund net cash flow is $33,800 higher than the previous year. Revenue is up $41,300 and expenditures are up $7,500 as compared to the same period last year. The revenue increase relates to a normal increase in water use, and expenditure increases are primarily due to an increase in personnel costs offset by other timing and allocation differences. The exchange net cash flow is kind of what I was pointing to at the first slide. They look fairly similar. They actually look better than last year. The cash flows are up $14,600 as compared to the same period last year. Revenues are up $5,400, which is good, and expenses are down $9,200, primarily due to just the timing of expenditures. The municipal airport net cash flows are up $10,600. Revenues are up $9,500. Expenses are down $1,100 due to the timing of expenditures. And here's just a cash flow report of all the funds, just kind of broken down, the same thing that we saw in the past slides, but for every fund. This next slide is just a summary of our cash accounts, which we'll go into a little bit further detail in the next slide. Let's see. Net cash in the bank is $6 million less than the same period last year, which meets our expectations of what it should be doing. Operating accounts are up $620,200. Pooled cash is down $5 million. Grants are down $874,200. Capital projects are down $818,500, and debt services is up $80,500 as compared to the same period last year. Okay, and now for our analysis of sales tax revenue. We see the trend line is still up, but the comparison between fiscal year 24 and 25 for February, we've had a little bit of a decrease. I went ahead and looked at the March sales tax revenue, and that was more than it was last year. The April was less than it was last year. So there's a bit of a timing fluctuation going on there, but we're also trying to get as much detailed information as we can get from the comptroller's office to help us identify and hopefully prepare as we move into next budget season and all of that fun stuff. But I believe that should be it. And if y'all have any questions for me or Carolyn, please let us know. And if we can't answer it here, we'd be happy to help y'all later.
All right. Do you have any questions for Lee on any of this? Council?
All right. Thank y'all for y'all's time.
Thank you, Lee. With that, we'll go on to item 5, announcements from the city manager.
Well, still have a lot of interest in houses to get built. The Adeline Crossing is still moving pretty fast. We've got a meeting tomorrow with folks that are looking at the Hahn property. The density there is going to be an issue, but that'll all be stuff y'all have to look at in the future. The Parks subdivision, there's going to be some density issues there that we have to sort out based on their concept that they presented to you, and we're working on that and some solutions to go with it. You'll be looking at that again, and of course they've got to go through the zoning and present their whole project, but you'll be looking at some stuff there. Had a rough weekend out at the industrial park. We lost a well and just could not keep up. So we are going to accelerate our looking at building storage tanks out there. Not sure how that's going to impact us, but I told Jacob with Walker Partners today to get me some numbers fast. And this is something that's not going to come too soon. We've got some pretty good sized tire kickers out there. One of them is very serious. It's the lowest value of the bunch, but they use a fairly significant amount of water. And then the other two are very, very, very high value. Nowhere near anything with them yet. I'm not even going to give you the project names yet. We'll brief you next time in executive session. But they will, one of them will have to have pretty good size storage on their own. It's not a matter of not having enough feed. It's a matter of having storage for timing issues, as the mayor well knows. So going to be a lot to look at in the upcoming future. Also, got numbers very recently, as of Friday, for the final, and we have a golly, change order coming up on rail. You've been expecting that, but we've been whittling on the thing, trying to get the numbers right. The numbers are right. So we may need to have a special on that. It shouldn't take just a few minutes, but maybe asking you to come have a special at some point. Angela will get with you on that. As soon as I get the proposed change order, I'll send it out to you and we can start talking to you about that. And that's all I have.
All right. All right. Do we have any requests or comments from the council? Hearing none, we'll go ahead. Oh.
I was just gonna, with us, gonna be losing two experienced council people, after the May meeting, and two new ones coming on. I was hoping that we could schedule a workshop for the council, to get everybody up to speed and be able to maybe talk to, have some of the department heads here that they could explain like where the streets are and wherever we can all get up caught up to speed on everything. And
Okay.
I thought, you know, it might not be the June meeting, but sometime during the summer, I would like to see us do that.
All right. I'm sure we can definitely deal with Angela and schedule something to get everybody here.
Yes.
All right. Anything else? All right, with that being said, we'll go ahead and adjourn at 6:45.